The CDU-CSU parliamentary group is calling on the federal government to do more to deal with the influx of refugees from Ukraine. They say the federal government must finally switch to action mode, organize consistent registration and distribution in Europe, guarantee the protection of women and children, and enable integration. That was said by CSU regional group leader Alexander Dobrindt to the German newspaper Rheinische Post. Due to the lack of willingness on the part of the federal government to act, there is a risk of losing control if the number of refugees increases, he says. Germany needs coordinated refugee management as soon as possible. Our country must be prepared for the fact that a large number of people fleeing Ukraine will be taken in within a very short time, said Dobrindt. And we in my city have seen how this happens. Union Parliamentary Group leader Johann Wadefuhl considers forecasts that 1 million people will come to Germany from Ukraine or much more. I expect a multiple of that for Germany. That's why we have to prepare much better, said the CDU politician to another newspaper. Chancellor Olaf Scholz must make the issue finally a top priority, because apparently Interior Minister Nancy Faeser from the Social Democrats still doesn't take the issue seriously enough, said Wadefuhl. Since the start of the Russian attack on Ukraine, more than 218,000 war refugees have been registered in Germany up to Sunday. However, the actual number is likely to be significantly higher because there are usually no fixed border checks at the internal EU borders, and Ukrainians are also allowed to enter the country without a visa. It is also not recorded how many of the refugees may be traveling on from Germany to friends or relatives in other countries. Federal Development Minister Svenja Schulze wants to specifically support women who have fled Ukraine. These women have often experienced bad things and are now faced with questions in a foreign country that none of them could prepare for, she told the German newspaper Augsburger Allgemeine. Schulz announced that the Action Network for Women on the Run would also be open to women and girls from the Ukraine, and that funds would be made available for 8 projects run by women's organizations. And the German Child Protection Association appealed to the municipalities to pay particular attention to the situation of the youngest. The children and their mothers first needed security, a minimum of privacy, places to play, and carers who deal with them in a trauma-sensitive manner, said the organization president Heinz Hilgers to the Rheinische Post. Children also have a right to education, and working mothers need childcare. Thuringia's Prime Minister Bodo Ramelow from the left advocated accommodating more refugees in the countryside. I'm convinced that looking after refugees in the vicinity of rural areas is more possible than in the anonymity of the cities. Tough word. He told the editorial network Germany. We should therefore bring as many people as possible to rural areas as quickly as possible, he said. North Rhine-Westphalian Refugee Minister Joachim Stamm from the Liberals suggested in the newspaper Welt an examination whether it's possible to build larger-scale facilities in the less populated regions in the east. At the meeting of EU foreign and defense ministers, Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock wanted to advocate for the EU-wide distribution of refugees. She said, many more people will come. We will have to distribute from the European external border. He said that in Hanover while she visited an emergency shelter for refugees. Every country in Europe has to take in people, she demanded. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.